What's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch review. And yeah, it is kind of a short week, unfortunately. Had a little too much going on at the income job at the moment, so unfortunately that is the nature of the beast. But luckily we do have time to get a couple out. I got one video coming today, another coming tomorrow, and then of course we'll hopefully finish up the combiner not long after that. But right now on the table, we're going to focus on our Star Trek fans, and we're going to take a quick review of an oldie but a goodie, the U.S.S. Appalachia, and that of course is a Steamrunner class model from Eaglemoss. I forget, issue number 54, so 54 out of 180. So it's an older one there, but of course we see this ship at the Battle of Sector 001's debut, one of the 5 ships designed for the movie First Contact, and then we see it in Deep Space Nine a little bit here and there, and then of course we do see the ship, I do believe, in episode 2 of Star Trek Picard, season 2. So again, and that's when they're being chased out of the Earth, the alternate Earth that they've gone to. So anyway, but yeah, we're gonna sit down, take a quick look at the ship, and of course we all know what that means. That means taking a quick look at the magazine. So let us get right to it. And of course we got the Appalachia moved off to the side so we can take a quick look at the magazine. Gotta get the glare out of there. And of course, Star Trek, the official Starship collection. It is a Steamrunner class, and of course there we have a nice shot of the U.S.S. Appalachia. Really nice detailing on this ship. Just a glorious model. Love how the deflector, you can see all the little spokes, the particle emitter just looks really good. Same with the nacelles, you got the little lines there, looks really good. It is a frigate launched in the 24th century with a length of 356 meters, and so it's about the length of Voyager, and a max speed of warp 9.6. Moving on to the next page, and of course you have a nice front shot of the Steamrunner class. And yeah, it doesn't look like much. It looks like a really flat design. You could tell a lot of the styling cues from the Defiant, the hidden nacelles and whatnot. It is a frigate in the 24th century, 356 meters, a crew of 200 approximately, warp 9.6, type 10 phaser emitters, and torpedo launchers. And then of course we have our table of contents, Steamrunner class designing the ship, becoming the Borg, and on screen, and then of course the standard stand instructions, and there we go, standard stand instructions. I love that. And then of course, we got our close-up shots of the Steamrunner class. Of course, the impulse engines, a top view of the impulse engines on the shuttle bays, and then of course the deflector dish area. So there we go for that. And then of course there we have another nice frontal rendering of the Steamrunner class. You can see the NCC 52136 on the U.S.S. Appalachia. Steamrunner class ships were involved in the crucial battles with the Borg and Dominion in the late 24th century. And again, we do see this, like most of the Wolf 359 ships, we see this sparingly in Deep Space Nine. We got a nice another rendering, this time from the stern of the ship, and then of course we could see an out-of-action Steamrunner class, half of its, I don't call it a saucer, but a control section melted off by the Borg there. And then, of course, we got our nice orthographic views, which you already know my views on this, my views on the views. I absolutely love that we get these kinds of details for ships that are barely seen on screen. And you know, I say this time and again, but I absolutely can appreciate that. And then of course we have designing the Steamrunner class, a bunch of preliminary shots. We can see kind of what it started out as, what it was going to look like. You see a little bit of a Dominion influence in there. And then of course this kind of reminds me, I think it was the Newton class from the Kelvin timeline. So we can kind of see the humble origins of that ship, maybe a little bit taking place here. And then of course you see the ship slowly smoothing out to become what it is. Dino Cat, of course, playing off this is the quad nacelle design, and again, we can kind of recognize this from Picard. So a lot of styling cues from these First Contact ships adopted for later designs in even the current series. And of course, we have Locutus, little dissimulation node coming out of his face. You know, it's interesting enough. I always kind of say this. A lot of people say Voyager ruined the Borg. And while I can certainly see the stock in that argument, I just want to kind of say my piece on that. To me, with robotic growths coming out of your body and them having to mutilate your body and all that stuff, to me the Borg never really stopped being scary. I always say, I mean, yeah, they lost that sense where they don't talk and whatever, they can't be reasoned with, but nevertheless they still have that sense of they got to do all this stuff to you to make you into a drone. You got all these growths coming out of you, and yeah, you can see some of the ideation here again. That to me is still scary. And then of course, yeah, just a few more first contact shots. Some stuff in Akira class being blown up there. Then we got a Jaeger class over there, and then of course at the last page, and then a nice top orthographic view of the Steamrunner. And of course, we'll do our quick stand run through because, hey, I finally have a stand that is working. And again, no different than any other Eaglemoss stand. You put the peg for the stand into the hole. We'll get our little base there. And then, of course, we'll bring in the ship, and it's just going to go right around the two nacelle pylons. Right there, and there you go, and it will actually sit quite firmly. I never had any issues with this stand, so there we go for that. And let's take a look at the Appalachia. And right off the bat, I'm going to say this is a superbly done model. Yet again, bravo to Eaglemoss, because we don't really see much of this ship. And the detailing is just absolutely beautiful. Lots of transparent plastic. We see it used for the impulse engines. You can see it in there. Got it for the nacelles. You can see it's sandwiched right in back here. Looks really good. And then of course you got it poking through here for the Passard collectors to kind of poke through that. You know, they got that meme of the guy in the room right here, and he's just like sleeping with one eye open. I know, how do you sleep like that? But whatever. I'm gonna talk about the only black mark right now, and you can see that the deflector, we really don't get any detail. We got a little bit of eggshell blue in there, but you also got the seam for where this kind of attaches on, so you can kind of tell that that's a separate piece. So unfortunately, unfortunately, it's the only black mark I have to give this. But other than that, it's a superbly done model. Lots of nicely done Aztecing on the back here. Got the shuttle bays 1 and 2 very nicely detailed out. It looks like a black with red outline. Then of course you got some, speaking of red outlines, you got them all over the ship, and again lots of embossed detail all along here. You can even feel a little bit with the escape pods embedded. Again, just really nice, lots of nice molded detail. I love the way that this kind of crowns down into the ship, and then of course you have a nice forward bay right there, and then the bridge dome. Again, you got the escape pods of the bridge crew right here, and then of course little area U.S.S. Appalachia NCC 52135. And then of course we move down the nacelles. We got the pennant, and it does have the very small text, and then of course we have in blue, looks very good, U.S.S. Appalachia NCC 52135. Or is that a 6? I believe that's a 6. My bad. That is a 6. I can't count. But yeah, no, this is absolutely just a superb model. Got some gold there for what looks like an RCS thruster, and then even on the bottom here, U.S.S. Appalachia, United Federation of Planets. And again, you see the escape pod. So actually, this is a pretty good place to. You can see the strategic ideation behind putting the escape pods. I mean, they're right under the ship, so you can just kind of position the top to take all of the brunt. And again, that is really good. Yeah, no, just a absolutely beautifully done model, beautifully detailed, nice coloration. Again, I really do like it, and it's so great that we get such a very detailed model for such a ship that we really haven't seen. And I can definitely appreciate the design of this ship. Definitely looks like some future Federation type ship, taking notes of the Defiant class and whatnot. It has a little bit of weight to it simply because of its design. I can kind of feel maybe a little bit of metal inside the saucer area, but mostly just feels like plastic on that side, which isn't a bad thing. Again, it's a ship we don't see that much, but it is a very nicely detailed model. I really do like it. And for a real quick comparison, we're going to bring in the Enterprise E, and actually this scale actually kind of works, because if you recall, the Enterprise E was about 692 meters in length, and this is about 350, so about half the size of the Enterprise. We can certainly see lengthwise it really does work out. Not sure about widthwise, but you can just real quickly see, and again, really good, real easy to see that both these ships are kind of from the same era. The Enterprise trying to keep the last-ditch effort of the Federation exploration, but becoming a battleship as well. We can kind of see the front view. That looks really, really good. It's so cool to kind of see. It's interesting how deceiving the Steamrunner class is. Get a look from the back. It's such a deceiving ship from all angles. It really, really is good looking. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, we'll get it from the side. And again, I just love how you look at all the different angles of this ship. And it's so deceiving what the ship is. You really got to look at it in 3D to see what the Steamrunner is. So again, just a quick comparison, and very cool, of course. So let's summarize, and there we have it for the Eaglemoss, the official Starships collection, Star Trek U.S.S. Appalachia, the Steamrunner class, issue number 54. And again, this is just another example of Eaglemoss and why they are and why you buy them. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Eaglemoss has always kind of been what Kenner was to Star Wars back in the 70s days. You know, if there was a character on screen for 30 seconds, they made a figure of it. And you know, even these ships that just got so little screen time, it's so cool to see this ship get so much attention to detail. Again, I said the paint work beautiful, the Aztecing really nice. You don't gotta worry about window misalignments because there's no pockets of windows. Lots of transparent plastic, even a little bit of weight to it, so it definitely feels a hair on the premium side. And I absolutely love it. I love that a ship like this just got so much attention to detail from Eaglemoss. And again, really is a win of a ship in my book, especially if you're a fan of those obscure ships, or you're just trying to collect all the ships from the famous Star Trek battles. And this one has been in a few itself. So yeah, definitely one for the books. I do highly recommend this model if you are that kind of person. Not sure where I've seen this model as of recent, but you can always check out realmerch.com. I'll put a link in the description down below. I definitely should be buying from them again in the future really soon. And other than that, check eBay, whatnot. I wouldn't overpay for it, but it still is a solid model to have. And that being said, that is going to conclude this review. So if you like this review and found it informative, consider hitting that like button. You might want to consider subscribing to my channel. We are growing over 300. Woohoo! And definitely this is something I'd love doing in my spare time. So hope to keep doing it, and in some capacity anyway. So definitely, if you are a fan of hearing this kind of stuff, subscribing really helps me out, and I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you all of those who already are. I can't even talk. I appreciate you so much. And that being said, that is going to conclude everything. So I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Live long and prosper.